And then it hit me. The most important moral thing that anybody can do. Loving God.
Christians can't love spaghetti monster. Got him! Hey guys, welcome in for another reacting video. Today we're gonna up it up a little bit, listen to some actual philosophers, so-called smarter people. Let's see what they had to say about the evidence for God.
What is your favorite argument for God's existence and why?
So my favorite argument for God's existence is that I believe in free will. Okay.
Right off the bat, that's not an argument. That's a belief. Okay. Free will doesn't have to exist.
The reason that I think this is an argument for God's existence is because if you believe that human beings are essentially just balls of meat wandering around aimlessly in the universe, the kind of Spinoza's stone that thinks that it was moving of its own accord, but actually was thrown. If you believe that and you don't believe in free will, then there's an internal coherence and logic to it. If you believe that you have the ability to make independent choices, that you can actually supersede your own biological drives and the environment around you to any extent, even to the smallest extent, this means that you believe in something that can't actually be proved by science, but that you are living every single day. And the notion that you have that will, and not only that you have that will, but that will is capable of comprehending the universe around you, that your will is sort of, your ideas, your ability to comprehend the universe is a reflection of a reality, of an objective truth that is out there. That says to me that there is a God, there's a common source that stands behind that objective truth and stands behind the mind that can comprehend that truth.
Okay, that was basically Ben Shapiro going, that was literally his entire argument. Okay, that was dog shit. What the fuck was that? So first of all, the fact that we have free will does not negate the idea of objective truth. Second of all, truth is merely descriptive of the world. So whether or not we have free will, we can still obtain truth by describing reality, determined to describe it, right? Truth can be determined to be had or obtained. And third of all, free will is not apparent at all. There's no need for free will. So right off the bat, that was a terrible fucking argument. It's not an argument for God. All right.
5 quick arguments for the existence of God. Number 1 is the universe had a beginning.
Oh, no. Okay. The universe does not necessarily have a beginning, whatever that means. But even if it doesn't mean God did it. It's not evidence of God at all.
We know this now from science. We know this from philosophy.
No, you don't know things from philosophy. There's no philosophical proof of a beginning of the universe, right? That's an empirical claim. You can't use philosophy on its own to prove something empirical.
That the universe began to exist. It's not eternal. Second, what we call the fine-tuning of the universe. There are certain universal laws of physics and cosmology that exist on a razor's edge. And they all have one
razor's edge. A razor's edge. Okay. No. So we understand that in physics there are tiny parameters in which we can designate certain features of the universe as, very small values. Of course, nobody disagrees with that. But the problem is that it doesn't mean anything because we only have one universe, right? So no matter how small the values are, right? In other words, if we changed gravity by a little bit, we wouldn't be here. Yeah, but we only have one universe to look at, right? So in order to say that they're so small, therefore it's improbable, well, you need another universe to compare this one to, right? We don't have any other universe to compare. Therefore, the chance of us being here could be 100%, no matter how small the parameters of our existence would be, right? There could be some deterministic reason why we exist this way. And perhaps we're the only universe, or there's a multitude of universes, each with their own different parameters. We just happen to be in one. That's it.
One strange thing in common. If these laws of, say, like gravity were the slightest bit different, our universe could not exist. Third.
Okay. And you would say the same for any universe that existed. Yeah. Any universe that was different by anything wouldn't exist, right? You can also say this with cancer, right? If the gravity was any different, cancer wouldn't exist. Okay. Does that mean God doesn't exist because cancer is bad and God would never do that or tune the universe for cancer? This is a terrible argument.
DNA. Do you know how much information is inside the DNA?
No, please not DNA. No, DNA isn't information. It's a molecule. Information is what we prescribe molecules of DNA because there's systems of inputs and outputs. That's all DNA is. It's not magic. It's not information. It's not God.
in your body. I saw one study that said the amount of information in one cell in your body is equivalent of about 500,000 movies.
Yeah, and the fact of 4 billion years of evolution it pretty much demonstrates that DNA is going to be a long strand of molecules with lots of different chemistry there. The idea that there's so much information, therefore God had to do it. That's a non sequitur. The universe, DNA itself is something that could emerge naturally. You don't need God for it.
Fourth, the moral argument. How can we say there's objective moral values? Well, number one, it's kind of obvious. We
No, it's not obvious. It's obvious that you don't have a brain, though.
all know that torturing an innocent child for fun is wrong. We all know that. It's obvious. And last, I think
That's it. That was the argument. We know it's wrong, therefore God. No, there are reasons why we know something's wrong. First of all, we don't actually know, ontologically speaking, if moral propositions are true or not. We have a feeling, we have a preference, right? We know we have a preference about these things. That's what we know. And these preferences, I agree with you, are very potent. But the reason why is because of a naturalistic reason. Evolution, right, allows us to have certain morals. That's why it feels so wrong to do these things, because we evolved a limbic system in the brain that kind of interacts with the outside world and feels certain ways about it. There's no hint of God being required for morality.
one reason to believe there's God is because of the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
The resurrection. That's not evidence. Literally, his argument was the resurrection. That's an assertion of a resurrection, bro. You're appealing to magic. This video should be called the God of the Gaps. Oh my god. Torturing a child, wrong. Torturing somebody in hell, fine. That's hilarious. Yeah, this guy is really, really like low IQ. Okay.
Oh, William Lane Craig.
For me, my
For me,
favorite argument
timeless, spaceless, immaterial.
for the existence of God that I find the most compelling is a version of the cosmological argument, which goes like this. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Something can't just come into being from nothing.
Except for God, because God is all powerful. He could do anything and make us from nothing.
Yeah. So nothing begins to exist, or whatever the fuck that means. Like, what do you mean begin to exist? Like, what begins to exist? Like, nothing just pops into existence. Everything we see in the universe has changed and is only changing through time. There's nothing beginning, especially not the fucking universe.
Secondly, the universe began to exist. I think
Claim. That's a claim. That's a claim. That's a claim, buddy. Come on, Billy.
we have both good philosophical arguments and scientific evidence for the finitude of the past, from which it follows, third, therefore the universe has a cause.
Okay, we can even grant you the first two premises, and it doesn't mean God did it, right? There could be a cause of the universe that's not God, like a quantum field.
And when you do a conceptual analysis of what it is to be a cause of the universe, you arrive at a being which is an uncaused, beginningless, timeless, spaceless, enormously
Timeless, spaceless, enormously powerful.
powerful, personal creator of the universe. So for me, that is a very convincing argument.
Yeah, and for you, because you're a fucking Christian who is biased towards your magic muffin man that died on a stick. Yeah, no shit, you like this argument because it sounds cute to somebody who's ignorant on science, but what does timelessness mean? Spaceless? What does that mean to be spaceless? Is there any example of something that's spaceless? No, nothing's timeless. Nothing needs to be those things for a universe to emerge. This is really, really embarrassing. Let's see what this guy had to say.
Here are 4 logical arguments for the existence of God.
Logic.
Number 1,
Logic.
causation. It's been proven that the universe is expanding. If you went back in history, you would see that the universe had a beginning. There must be a cause, and the
I'm so tired of this fucking cosmological argument. It's so annoying.
universe needs a
No, this is just lying. You're just lying at this point. Like, no, you don't need a first cause. You don't need a first beginning or cause or magic man to do it.
eternal first cause. Number 2, creation. The mathematical
Creation. Every creation needs a creator.
No, you're begging the question.
likelihood of the perfectly designed cellular foundation for life to randomly occur without a designer takes more faith than accepting that a
What do you mean perfectly designed cellular foundation for life? Like, you mean like cancer? Like aging? Like you mean like genetic diseases and disorders? That's all perfectly designed? Okay. But more importantly, when you say something is perfect, that is a relative statement you're making, right? Perfect relative to what? Right? What we designate as perfect is always going to be subjective, right? Like there's no objective thing that we can say in the universe is perfect. It doesn't exist. It is always tethered to something subjective. And when you say design, what's a non-design look like to you, right? Like what's a non-design? Like what's that?
divine designer
If everything's designed, then we can just as easily say nothing's designed. It's the same thing.
created this finely tuned universe. Number 3, conscience.
This finely tuned universe. Oh, another assertion embedded in the argument. That's a great job, buddy. Yeah, this is so dishonest. Design, creation, perfection, none of these are all assertions. Fine tuning is another assertion. First of all, we don't know if the universe is fine tuned for life, right? Like when you say tuned for life, what do you mean? What's a universe that's not tuned for life look like, right? Like when I look around the universe and I see like, you know, an entire vast space-time that has no life in it, like that is full of empty, dark space, I don't see how that's tuned for life, right? We would expect the universe to be tuned for life if everywhere in the universe was life, but we don't see that.
Theft, murder, adultery. Everywhere, these are wrong. A universal moral law requires a
Moral lawgiver.
Yep, those are humans. They're called humans. They're called humans. That's who gives the laws. We.
moral lawgiver. Number
Like the funny thing is like who's giving God's laws? Who's making God's law? Like he just says it's good to do that. He just says the law and therefore it's law. Well, we can do the same fucking thing. God's no better than us. We're moral agents just as God is. So we don't fucking need your God.
4, Christ's resurrection. Matters of history are validated through evidence that's
Another resurrection claim.
presented in court. Eyewitness accounts, documentation, artifacts. The evidence for the resurrection.
No. Okay, how about this? If we were in court and somebody said in court that they saw a magic unicorn that farted pixie dust, would you believe them in court? Would the judge just go, yeah, it's an eyewitness account. It must be true because it's in a court. No, that's not how evidence works. A court is a different arena than the reality we live in, the empirical world around us, right? Where we can test and verify things. The court is a different place.
Meets all of these requirements. Here are 4 logical.
Yeah, we're not doing that garbage. Okay, you're not doing that.
If you're an
Quick question for
atheist,
you. If you're an atheist, why do you not believe in God? And if you don't believe in God because you say the book is written by man, why do you believe in evolution? Because that was also made up by a guy, I think. Quick question for you. If you're an atheist,
Oh my
why-
gosh, bro. This can't be serious. This can't be serious. Oh, she's from TikTok, by the way, guys. No shit. Okay. I don't believe in God because there's no evidence for it, and evolution wasn't made up by a guy, right? It's observable and verifiable in reality. Okay, people are just ones who describe reality, right? That's what we do as people, as scientists. We like look around and we describe how things work, right? And we can verify our claims, unlike you with your magic sky wizard. Okay, but nice try. Nice try. These are the top thinkers of our time, guys. These are the most smartest people. The smartest Christians.
Wait a minute, guys. Like, why can't I just do with you what I want if I have the power? Like, why is that wrong exactly? Like, it might be inconvenient for you, and you are no doubt going to be motivated to rebel. Maybe, if you don't want to succumb, but perhaps you'd be motivated to rebel. But I don't see how you can make a moral case that if I can do it, I shouldn't. If you're going to make the moral case, you have to make the assumption that each person, in some sense, is created in the image of what is sacred, and you can't violate that, regardless of...
Why? Why not? Why not, Jordan Peterson? Why can't we violate God's laws? Why not? Why? Why? Why should we follow God's laws? Because you want to? Because you want to get to heaven? Why? Why? The same problem persists with your God. Why do we have to follow God's laws? Why? What's the reason? Why? Why? Because he said so? That's not a good reason.
Apparent evidence for hierarchical difference.
You're thinking, you're believing a contradiction.
When you can prove that there is any God, let alone your God,
Jesus rose from the dead, he already proved it.
then you
He already proved it. It's in the Bible. He said it.
Yes, he did.
prove it.
What year is it?
Prove it.
2023 AD, after the death of who? Not Buddha, not Muhammad.
Oh my God.
Did you know that calendars are made up? Did you know that many cultures have different calendars? Did you know that, buddy? That they're just numbers on a piece of paper? Calendars aren't real. They're just made up numbers.
Not Charles Darwin. Jesus Christ.
When the religious leaders that made up the government forced Christianity on people, they also changed the calendar to fit in with your Jesus narrative, right? It's not because God's real, okay? It's not like when Jesus was born, they went, oh, we got to start the calendar now. We had no time before Jesus. Jesus was born. Okay, today is 0. Today is date 0. All right. No, it's not how time works, dumbass.
Christ.
That was the
You're believing a...
I've noticed many people don't believe in God because of evolution. Is evolution contrary to God? Let me give you a simple example. Here's my cell phone. Imagine my cell phone happened from an explosion. Maybe we could prove it. We could prove that the cell phone happened from an explosion and all the particles of glass, they kind of came together and the heat was just right, that it sort of came into this flat, perfectly solid form. Wouldn't we not therefore be logically reasonable by saying, boy, somebody brilliant must have planned that explosion? Like, that doesn't mean it was an accident.
No, somebody brilliant made up cancer and genetic disorders and like starvation and sleeping. That's a stupid design. Why would you have to sleep for 8 hours a day? Why do you have to eat and drink all the fucking time or you starve to death, right? Like, why do people get diseases like easily? Like, our immune systems attack themselves and kill ourselves. That's a really dumb design.
It means it was just even more brilliant, because not only did they cause it to happen, but they caused it to happen through one act of creation.
Oh, really? Okay, if God exists, if he has all power, he could have made a world way better than this one, okay? God could have made a world where there is no fucking disease. He could have made that. God could have made a world where there is never harm that happens. Nobody ever falls. Eve never eats the apple. God could have made that world happen, but he didn't. So you're saying that this is the most perfect universe that could exist, right? Oh, no. Heaven is. Oh, okay. So if heaven's greater than this world, then this is not the best world that God can do. This world is unnecessary, and which means that there's no reason for us to exist. God could have made us all in heaven from the get-go. God could have made the best possible world from the get-go, and that's it. None of this other garbage is needed.
But I don't think it's accurate, but I would absolutely use it as evidence for God. I've noticed
By the
many
way,
people
an
don't.
explosion that made us, that's not an accurate representation of the Big Bang at all. So, but nice try.
There's this divide that it maybe is best explained by the analogy of eyes being open or closed. When you close your eyes, there's nothing in the room. And as long as you keep your eyes closed, I could say to you, prove to me that there's a painting in the room. I'm going to keep my eyes closed. It's going to be harder to prove that. Or I open my eyes, in which case I'm not even asking. And this is what often happens, I think, with skeptics. There's so much taken for granted as they begin their study for God. They begin looking for God, right? They look around at the universe. They look around at creation. They look around at their own life. They feel their own soul, their own being. They see beauty, morality, and goodness. And that's all just there without explanation for them. And then they turn.
No, there's explanations behind everything you just fucking mentioned. Okay. Beauty comes from the mind. It comes from our understanding, our appreciation for things, right? It's just your brain feeling good about things you see and hear and smell. Morality as well, mind dependent. It's just our preferences, what we like and what we don't like in the world, right? We can ground all these things in our experiences and our consciousness. You don't need God for any of these things.
Turn to you and say, okay, now prove there's a God. And you're like, you're sort of starting from a place where you have missed all the evidence. There's this divide that it maybe is best explained by the analogy of I.
No, right? Because the problem is he's trying to say that, atheists just presuppose that this is just natural. No, we don't. We're open to there being a supernatural, but the problem is you haven't demonstrated that to be the case. In other words, you haven't shown us that it can't be natural. That's the problem. You haven't done your work to demonstrate that there's something beyond the natural realm that is yet to be discovered, right? You're the one, in fact, presupposing God did it. If anything, you're the one presupposing God did it.
Do you know that scientists might have just discovered the greatest
Oh my god! The greatest
evidence that God created the universe? During some research at CERN in Switzerland,
Oh no, not CERN.
they discovered something amazing. Most of us have been taught our whole lives that the atom is the smallest particle in existence, made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Scientists then discovered that protons and neutrons are made up of these things called quark. And what?
Cork. They're made of wine bottle corks, guys. They're made of beer corks. That's right. They're made of cork.
They discovered is monumental. They discovered something called
Monumental? Oh, wow. That makes it more valid.
God particle. And check this out. The God particle.
No, not the God particle, please. Not the God particle. No, it's not really God. It's just a name for the Higgs boson.
Particle behaves exactly like sound waves.
no.
And we know that God created the universe with his
It doesn't work like sound waves. No, it doesn't work like sound waves.
words. If you believe that God created the universe, then follow or subscribe right.
No, it's not sound waves. It's a quantum field that particles. It acts like a molasses where particles go through and obtain mass. It's not sound. That was so embarrassing.
I also have a wager that I put to the religious in these cases. I've tried it with everyone from the guy who founded Bush's faith-based initiative to various Baptist pastors, a Buddhist nun, a rabbi, charismatic Catholic, not yet an answer from them. It's simple. You have to name or cite a moral action performed or a moral statement made by a believer that could not have been made by an atheist, and it cannot be done.
As I thought about it, I sat down and I went, how would I answer that? What would be a moral thing a Christian could do that an atheist can't do? And then it hit me. The most important moral thing that anybody can do. Loving God.
No, he didn't just say that. No, he did not just say that. Christians can't love spaghetti monster. Got him. This is what he just did. Atheists don't love God. Okay, great. You don't love spaghetti monster. Checkmate.
Like it doesn't occur to the atheist or even many Christians.
Yeah, we never thought about that.
That were debating Christopher Hitchens.
He said, there is no God. You cannot be a rational person and believe there is a God.
This is, if you guys don't see it, it says atheism disproved in 1 minute.
I said, okay, help
Ready, guys, to become Christians? I'm ready. I'm
me out
ready.
with this. I want to show you something. I said, this circle represents knowledge. Everything that could ever be known about any subject fits in there. All the sciences, all the arts. You're an intelligent man. You study
All
at this
the arts.
university.
All the arts.
How much do you know of everything that could possibly be known? So he took a pen and he drew that and he went, I reckon I know this much. I said, wow, you're intelligent. He said, yeah, I am. I said, that's brilliant. I said, so that's what you do know.
I love how they make up these narratives in their minds. It's so cute.
Oh, he said, yes. I said, and that's what you don't know. He said, yes. But this does exist. You just haven't discovered it yet. Yes. Therefore, could God not exist in a dimension that you haven't yet discovered? Answer?
Whoa, that's amazing. Let's all clap. Wow,
Yes.
he proved God.
Therefore, sir, I would suggest you're not an atheist. You're
Okay, so no, because God is ill-defined, you cannot say it's possible. See? Possibility requires a demonstration of possibility. You can't just say anything's possible, because if I say a square circle exists, you would say that's impossible. By definition, a square cannot be a circle. A square circle. It can't exist. Just like a married bachelor, it doesn't make sense. So if you say, oh, maybe God's possible, what do you mean by God? What do you mean by God? For us to say it's possible, you have to have a definition for it. If you're going to say that God is a man who is a powerful man, a strong man, who loves us, and sure, that's possible. But it's definitely not somebody that correlates to Christianity. So that's a nice try, though.
One of the most unsettling questions an atheist has to answer is there meaning to life?
It's not unsettling. It's just like every day we ask this question. Like, this isn't like a gotcha. Life meaning could be subjective. And if there is an objective meaning out there, okay. Who cares? It doesn't mean God exists.
One of the world's most famous atheists, Richard Dawkins, wrote a book called A River Out of Eden, a Darwinian view of life. And in it, he says, the universe that we observe has no purpose, no good, no evil, just pitiless indifference. That is the consistent view of atheism, that life has no meaning or purpose.
No, that was a nice try, though. What he really meant to say with that was that, objectively speaking, right, from the universe's perspective, from a cosmic perspective, the universe doesn't seem to care about us. It doesn't seem to have some goodness nature to it or some evil nature to it. It seems that the universe just is, and any meaning or purpose that we perceive is completely perceptual and does not come from the universe, but comes from ourselves.
But we don't live that way. We live as if things matter in this world. We live as if life actually has meaning. And
yeah, because we that's how we perceive things, right? We give life purpose and meaning, not the other way around.
Have meaning and are here for a reason. Everybody on this earth exists for a purpose, and we're created by God and for a relationship with God. That Jesus created you
God. He loves me so much.
Okay, great. What's God's purpose for existing? Like, the funniest thing about this is that saying God exists doesn't give us meaning all of a sudden, right? like imagine a universe where it's always complete suffering all the time. Everybody is starving. Everybody's hungry. There is violence all the time. Right? There's burglaries, robberies. There's constant mayhem. In that universe, God exists. In universe B, it's mayhem, but God doesn't exist. Does the sheer fact that God exists in universe A mean that we suddenly have meaning? No, it doesn't change a fucking thing about the universe. It doesn't change a fucking thing. Nothing changes if you add God.
Specifically with value, with dignity and worth, in that your life actually has meaning.
The funny thing also is that Christians think our meaning is to worship. Like, literally, they think their only purpose of existence is to worship some magic dictator. That's not meaning to me. Like, if that's your only meaning, you atheists don't have meaning, but I do. It's to be a slave. We're supposed to worship forever and ever and ever. Worship in here, and then in the afterlife, we worship more until we never stop worshiping. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very meaningful life to me. Evidence for God that atheists can't debunk.
Okay. See, throw it back.
No.
Start a riot.
Oh.
See, throw it
No. This is getting me
back.
very.
Start a riot. See, throw it back. Start a riot.
Every fucking video is the same shit.
I'm going to say, when I look at reality around me, when I look at the creation of the universe or the fact that the universe exists, the fine tuning, the more objective moral values, when I look at what appears to be design.
Literally every fucking video is the same, bro.
In life and where life came from, when I look at consciousness
these
and
are
free
like
will.
best apologists, right? Like these guys, Winger, Turek, Peterson, Craig, like these are real philosophers. Like some of these guys are real philosophers. Like they've studied philosophy, and these are like, this is like the best apologetics has, right? And it's like, it's embarrassing, bro. Like really embarrassing. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. See you next time. Please subscribe, like, comment, and see you next time. Have a good day.
Study the scriptures, dissected their claims, found contradictions and fallacies. It's all just a game. I'm an atheist, breaking theism like glass, dropping truth bombs. Watch it go and